Hello and welcome to this Wednesday episode of, I don't even know what we're calling this Wednesday episode. So normally if you watch this show on Monday, we do the projects in progress where we show pictures of what you guys are making. And then we follow up with what we're doing in the shop. I do question of the week and some other little segments. And well, the show is getting too long. So based on what you, the viewers, said, we've decided to cut it in half. So Monday we showed what you all were making. Today we're going to be telling you what we've been doing this last week. So Dan and I, we've been for well over a month now working on an office. And well, this week we were just supposed to set the doors. Excuse me. Set the doors and do the casing and the trim around it. But of course, when we were there were other problems. So it was a hot week this week, and the air conditioning wasn't working in the office. The owner said, "Do you know anything about air conditioning?" I said, "I know enough to be dangerous." So we went up there on the roof, looked at the unit, and it was frozen up. So there must be a cycling issue with it. Something was going wrong. The compressor.
And when you say frozen, he means ice, ice, ice.
Yeah. There was a couple inches of ice wrapped around the evaporator and the compressor and everything. So we just turned it off, and we said at this point, you need to call a professional. But that took a little bit of time to play with. They also said they had a water leak. There was water getting onto the floor, and here we traced it down to some bricks that had the mortar missing. And so we did some point tucking on that. And then, of course, then we finally started working on the doors. So that was part of the week. In the shop here, I'm sanding on a coffee table. Not done with that, so there's nothing to show you with that yet. We had some estimates. We went out and did an estimate for a bathroom. And boy, is that turning into a mess. Ideas are being thrown all about. And we just got to get it kind of simplified and get the customer grounded. And then, then I also, too, KenCraft. KenCraft, I buy about 95% all my lumber and material there. Family-owned business, been going there for years and years and years, watching the kids grow up. And the youngest daughter is graduating high school. So got a graduation party this past weekend to go to, and
congratulations.
And her father tells us that their daughter has this obsession with collecting forks. Now I've heard of people collecting spoons, and that's usually like by old grandmas and stuff. But this gal, she's into collecting forks, and so of course, I decided I had to make her a fork out of wood. So this is my version. And of course, you know who felt
me.
Yeah, felt he had to give one too. And so this is Dan's version of his fork.
I think it's beautiful. Look at it. Look at the curves. Look at it.
Curves. Look at the nails. Yeah. It looks like Satan's pitchfork is what it looks like. But I bet you anything, she's going to love yours more than mine.
Just think of putting that into a piece of steak and cutting it. That steak ain't going to move, man.
No, you probably won't get the steak off of it. Anyhow, so that's going to be fun. So, okay, that's what we were doing here in the shop. Now, I had a lot of questions come in this week. So instead of question of the week, we got questions of the week. So I'm going to start off with some of them. So Julie Gray, she asked that she watched the Woodcraft Vendor Trade Show, and I was talking about all the different products I saw and stuff coming out. And Julie said, could I do a little something on some affordable hand tools? And, I'm totally with Julie, because I think especially if you're starting out in woodworking, you're not sure if this is going to be a hobby that you want to stay with, so how much money do you want to invest in this? And then if you do buy something cheap and it doesn't work, you're going to get discouraged. So I'm not sure where everyone is at when we watch the show. Sometimes we'll talk about the nicer, higher-end tools. Sometimes we'll talk about some affordable ones. But if this should be a project, or this should be a tool for should you buy it, I have the Irwin Chisels here. And I got to say that I've got many chisels, old ones, new ones. This is one that you can walk into a Woodcraft or even a big box store, and I love these. I love them for a couple of reasons. One, it takes a sharp edge and it will hold a sharp edge. Some of the tools I've used can get razor sharp, and then after you hit on them about a dozen times, you gotta hone it up again. These really hold a good edge. Now they used to come with the top rounded, and so when you would strike with a mallet, that round top would sometimes want to deflect the blow. So I cut mine flat. But now if you buy them, Irwin must have had enough people complaining about it. When you buy them now, they come with a flat top. So, and these are, I mean, they're priced right around $10, depending on where you go. Maybe
That's
8,
not bad.
maybe 12. No, like considering some other chisels, like 30, $40 a piece, you know. It's really a good chisel. Now, I'm gonna throw them under the bus a little bit. I'm gonna throw. I shouldn't do this. It's probably gonna hurt me.
$10 chisel, I'd hit it with a hammer too.
Well, I'll tell you what. They were at the vendor trade show, and every time I do a live demonstration, I tell everybody how great of a chisel this is. And I've got a lot of their products. I got the saws. I got their clamps. I love this. And so when I approached them at the vendor trade show, could just been their representative. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. They were rather rude to me.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, there I am going up, telling them how much I love them, and they just kind of wanted to blow me off.
Not good.
Not good.
Not good PR anyway. Especially if you're using our tools.
Then again, maybe they watched the show.
Yeah, that could be.
But I'm just saying, I was really surprised for a product that I love so much. I don't get paid by them, right? When I do my live demonstrations, I'm just preaching to people. This is a great tool, great product, and for them to poo-poo me, I was a little bit hurt. Nonetheless, it doesn't reflect on the tool, just that individual.
You give me some names.
You know, I have her name. There was actually 2 of them there. There was a guy and gal. The guy wouldn't give me his card.
Wouldn't give you his card?
He said, talk to her. He was like that. He's wearing the Irwin shirt. He's like, talk to that gal there. So I talked to her. She was kind of nice. Kind of nice, nicer than that guy. And then I had to ask for a card. They didn't even say, oh, here you go. Whatever.
Anyhow.
Moving on.
Do you feel better now?
I'm probably going to have to edit that out.
No, you won't.
So, Hale Songner. Hale watched last week's episode, and I was talking about the Miles Craft Exactor, and I had mentioned that this particular tool is crap. And I wanted to make it real clear that I said this particular tool was crap. I didn't say the company was crap, because Hal had to tell me that, very polite, very nice, he wasn't getting on my case, that Hal wanted to say that he bought the Miles Craft pocket hole kit, and he said it worked just as advertised. You know, said it really does a nice job for him. He's quite pleased with it, was able to save some money on it versus some of the other companies, I guess, incomparable.
Well, that's good.
That is good to hear. That's good to hear. Unfortunately, my first experience with the company wasn't a good one. But there you are, Miles Craft. Not hating you. Just not in love with this one. So, I wanted to throw that out there. I didn't want people thinking I'm bashing on any particular company. Okay. Oh, so a few weeks back, I had asked the viewers what their favorite woodworking book was. And they gave me a lot of great suggestions. And so Bob Ilston, he suggested that I make a list of what everybody's book was and put that on the website.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I think it's a fantastic idea. There's only one problem.
What?
I have to do something on the website.
What?
I'm not real fast at that, so I gotta figure out how to get that done. But No, I did. I thought that was great. So, I mean, everybody that you'll have your name in there and your suggestions for books, and it's something that we can all go to and refer to. And if you buy a book off that list and you hate it, well, you know the individual to complain to. So. But no, I thought it was great because there were so many books listed, and I thought, yeah, why not? Instead of me rattling them all off, let's have a list that they can go to. So I'll try and work on getting that on the website. Okay, now Jacob Gomez. Jacob bought a new hand plane. Well, new to him. He spent a huge fortune on this hand plane.
How much?
$1.
$1.
See, this is what I'm telling you. You can get some great finds out there. Now, Jacob didn't know, though, that he was getting. So he got a Stanley hand plane. And by looking at it, I'm going to say it's pre-1950. You don't want anything older than that. And the one thing that I tell people to look for whenever they're buying a hand plane, new or used, you want to look for this screw, not the adjusting knob here. This adjusting knob is what moves the blade forward and back. That'll determine the size of your shaving that you take off. No, the screw below it. Now, that's the screw you'll probably never adjust. It's kind of like a set it and forget it thing. But what it does is, let me take this apart. That's attached to this section here that we call the frog. And by moving that forward, what it does is it closes the gap down here on the mouth. Okay. And so the smaller the gap on the mouth, the finer the shaving you can get. All right?
So it's kind of like fine-tuning it.
It's fine-tuning it, but the reason I say you'll never adjust it is because if the frog moves forward too much, it hangs over the base of this. And so it's kind of cantilevered, all right? And so the blade isn't fully supported. And sometimes with a thinner, cheaper blade, you'll get chatter.
So it'll gouge it?
Yeah, it won't be smooth. You'll have like these little rough marks on it. So what I always do is I keep the frog perfectly aligned with that bottom bed. And if you guys get a hand plane, you'll tear it apart, you'll see. Maybe I'll do a video just on this, you know, how to adjust it, what to look for when you're buying a new or used one. So that's the first thing. So I noticed in Jacob's picture, he had that adjustment down there for the frog, so right away I knew it was going to be of decent quality for him. The next thing you want to do is you have the iron and the chip breaker. Now, the chip breaker is said to help curl the shaving out of there. That's why this is a little bit rounded. Okay? Talking with some of my old buddies, Dennis, and he says, that's crap. He says, no. He says, you look at any old wooden hand plane, they didn't have that. So what the chip breaker actually allows is, see this slot here?
Yeah.
Well, that slot goes into this lever here, which is a lateral adjustment. Oh. So you can skew the blade from side to side. So it's another like fine-tuning adjustment. That essentially is what Dennis says the chip breaker is used for. But regardless, the first thing you want to do is you want to, with this together, you want to hold it up to the light. You want to make sure you see absolutely no light between the chip breaker and the iron. Because if you see a little bit of light there, it's not meeting together, and you're going to get wood shavings that get stuck in there, and then what happens, we call it chokes. And the hand plane, you know, you're going to be trying to clean the shavings out, it won't work.
So what if you do see light in between?
Well, you take it and you take a file or a sharpening stone, and you're going to want to flatten. That's a good question.
So, but it is fixable.
Oh yeah. In fact, I'll tell you something here in a second. So I take these apart, and so I'm just going to want to flatten the bottom side of this and flatten that on a stone.
Okay.
And you just keep putting it together and checking. Now, I always do that. Because I buy so many old hand planes, I make that a habit of checking right away. So when I got when I got the new Wood River 4.5 hand plane, it was the first thing I did, just out of habit. Took the lever cap off, and I took this out, and this got a substantially thick blade in it, so it's going to be more stable. And I held it up to the light, and oh my God, there was light.
Really?
Yeah, I could see light behind it. You know, so it doesn't matter if. And these are good. I mean, this is like $175, $180 hand plane.
That's a good hand plane.
It is a very good hand plane, but you can't just rest on that. You know, you got to know your basics. Yeah. And so I took it out, and when I said something to them, they're like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. You know, we'll send you another one." You can send me another one. It's an easy fix. Yeah. I mean, I literally on the stone, maybe about 5-6 passes, put it back together. I'm good to go. So new or old, you know, a couple things to check for on that. So, and of course, no hand plane is gonna work right unless your iron is sharp. So you should invest in some kind of sharpening method, whether you just buy some stones, whether you use a sandpaper method on a piece of glass. There's a whole bunch out there. You can Google it, YouTube it, it'll show you. I have my own method. I find sharpening is one of those things that are very personal. I mean, what works for me may not work for you, and so on. So I typically don't like doing videos or lessons on how to sharpen tools just because it's such a personal thing. But at any rate, no hand plane is going to work if it's dull. So that's just the real basic fundamentals on hand planes. How are we doing on time there, Dan?
You were at 17 minutes.
Okay, so not bad. So let's see. Video coming up on Friday will be. I didn't ask them a question of the week. So I'm telling you your questions. I didn't give you my question. So my question is, what do we name this Wednesday show? That's what I need from you guys. I need to know what should we call this second half of, you know, what was part of What Are You Doing? So.
Now this is going to come out every Wednesday?
Every Wednesday, yeah, I think so. So just in case they run long, in case I get a lot of questions, or in case we're doing a lot of interesting stuff in the shop.
Yeah, right.
And we have a lot to talk about. This way we won't feel rushed for anything. And they get to see our smiling faces, you know, one extra day of the week. So Friday will be finally the last video on this wine station. It'll be the full build. So if you hadn't been watching the quick tips were actually of this wine station. I'm going to do it in that fast format program because that's what most people like. So on Friday it'll be like a quick build. But if there's anything in there specifically you want to see, I will have the links at the bottom. That, to me, the quick tips were really the important parts of this. You know, some of this is just cutting and gluing together. Big deal.
There's a lot of good lessons there, though.
There was a lot of good lessons in it. So I'll have those links below if someone on Friday wants to specifically see something in detail. But that's going to be this. And now I don't know when this is going to come out. I don't know when. But, you know, I've been talking with Mitch Peacock over there in England. Yeah. And we've been talking about collaborating together on a video. And this year, I've been doing a lot of demonstrations of hand-cut dovetails. Now, I know I've done some videos in the past of hand-cut dovetails, but when I do the live demonstrations, I give a lot of little details of common things that trip people up and simple little things you can do to make it work better. So the demonstration is obviously longer than like my 5-minute video. So I'm thinking about doing a new version of that video and throwing all those little tips out there. And so I cut my pins first. And Mitch is going to be doing the video, and he's going to cut his tails first, because that's how he does it. So we're gonna somehow, don't know how, it all depends on his schedule, our schedule, but we're either going to try and do it together, or if nothing else, we're going to link them then at the end. so you can watch another version of how to do the same thing.
That'll be pretty cool because it'll be like the same technique, only from two different parts of the world.
Exactly. Oh, yeah, and it's exactly different parts of the world, but I mean, it's also achieving the same thing
Right.
by a different method.
Yeah.
Which that's the thing about woodworking. There's no like written Bible on this. I mean, if you can get good results with an old tool versus a new tool, or it doesn't matter. This is all about sharing and making sure that this craft doesn't get lost, doesn't get forgotten, and we keep it alive. And I love what Mitch is doing over there. So we're going to try and, make the world a little smaller. Bring us closer together. Anyhow, so hopefully, I'm not sure when that's going to happen, but we've been talking about it for weeks now. So I think we're good. I can't imagine anything else I need to say. So Friday, look for the new video, and then we'll be right back here on Monday for another episode of what you're doing in your shop. So until then, keep on dancing.